Here we go. Right where it should be. These chippies are
Yes, I brought a supply list to them.
Yeah, okay, time being 5:30. Date is November 16th, wow. But this meeting of the Tilton Earthly Fire and EMS Budget Committee now come to order. The record show everybody's here.
That's amazing.
Including
Wow, and visitors.
Visitors.
All right, I saw we have minutes. I forgot my glasses again. Yeah, I got trifocus.
Oh, five.
That's pretty close.
Can't see that.
It's just some regular cheetahs.
make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Everybody read them? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right. Everybody had had an opportunity to go over the budget since our last meeting. And in your packets, you'll see there's a new budget that includes recent work the commissioners did. So you should have an 1116. So we're all working on the same budget. Yar yar.
Yep.
All right.
Is the only changes here, the commissioners,
There might have been a couple on my side.
There were.
That the commissioner didn't vote on, that I changed before they had a chance to vote on. They're way down low. Nothing big.
So Eric, I'm gonna ask you this question. I noticed on page 3, the commissioner's budget, the Social Security, Medicare, retirement, unemployment, or unemployment's the same, but the other 3 are different. Did the commissioners exclude an employee?
Are you talking about from the chief's budget?
Yeah,
So
or is the chief looking for more?
the chief, no, it has nothing to do with staffing, it has to do with payroll,
Salaries and wages.
the what? Payroll,
Salaries.
salaries and wages.
Okay,
So the chief, I forget what the exact number was that the chief had, but I want to say he had budgeted an increase and then we budgeted a lesser increase.
so this has to do with raise.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm on page 5 looking at career salaries and
You gotta let
wages.
me know where you are, because I can't keep up.
Well, I just
I
barely
You
went
said page
there.
I thought I heard you say page 3.
I was on page 3, and I just barely went to page 5.
I didn't hear the page.
I know, neither did I, so,
Softly.
so, yeah.
All right. What percentage of raise increase did the commissioners?
The chief had, I don't remember what our exact percentage was. We went by a dollar amount versus the chief had put in for 9.1% and we were less than that. I know the dollar amount, I don't know what the percentage is, but I'm sure Kathy might be able to let me know.
It was
Like, it was around
7.65.
6.5?
7.65.
So-
For the commissioners? No, that was, yes, the commissioners was 7.65. The chief was 9.1. COLAs.
Look at that.
What was your reasoning?
Keeping us, we've been very fortunate compared to other departments around us that we've had very little turnover, and we're trying to keep ourselves competitive wage-wise.
I have a sheet that explains all that if you want to look at that.
Anybody? Chief has the sheet?
There's enough for everybody.
Oh. I don't think I have that one.
There you go.
Oh, you did so well.
I'm prepared most of the time.
Look at you.
You good? Who else?
Jason and Kevin,
Oh.
oh, you've got one?
I have.
Kevin?
Okay.
Holy cow.
Now, Chief, how did you pick these towns? What was the criteria?
These are the towns that are currently advertising for positions.
Okay.
Like it says at the top.
Yeah, right.
Laconia has a $3,000 sign-on bonus?
Yes. For advanced EMTs, for medics, it's 4,000, I believe.
Franklin is interesting.
Yeah, that's why they have 7 openings.
Oh, no kidding.
They hire folks, they stay for a few weeks and then they just get hired somewhere else and they leave. That's what's going on right now.
Which is what you're trying to prevent.
Yes.
So we're advertising,
There's not much chance of that.
we're not fully staffed?
We are fully staffed.
So why
Well,
don't we-
we have 1 opening
Okay.
right now.
So we're advertising for one.
No?
I've actually have an offer and the gentleman's accepted it.
Right.
Yeah. Franklin's $4 an hour less than us, we're $4 an hour less than them.
I never do
$2.
that. Sorry,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
spam.
Why does it say Tilton Northfield Fire District Commissioner approved?
It says commissioners, oh, a recommendation then, I guess I should say. That's what they recommended. I guess you got, the only approval, I guess, is at district meeting.
Actually, it'll be in March.
So
Yeah.
these are all current openings?
Yes. There's actually more than that, but those are the ones I grabbed off the state website that had the starting wages listed.
Okay. Anybody have any specific part of this they want to discuss, or just, you want to start at the beginning? Run through? Let's not get hung up on one more. How did we go from $750 appropriated to
What page are you on
$150?
now?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm at the beginning, I'm on page 3.
Good.
Your budget views on page 2?
Well, this is all revenues,
Yeah, the real budget starts on page 3. At the very
this is
top.
revenues, this is, you know, itemized, this is, well, not itemized, this is, yeah.
Which one were you asking the question about?
Treasure,
That is what the.
if 750 was appropriated, raised and appropriated, how'd you end up spending 1,500?
The Board of Commissioners agreed to pay the treasurer $1,500, and they took $250 each out of their appropriation to give to him. Because they felt he was being underpaid.
Now, it seemed as if last year, he wanted to bring in like a deputy or assistant.
That was a
treasurer.
couple years ago.
It seemed like, okay, maybe, yeah, it was
2
20,
years,
we're,
yeah.
Right.
we're COVID and blah, 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 but, and I think that time we made a move to not agree for that.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And the clerk's gonna be overexpended because of, the two
Extra meetings.
extra, the extra meeting we have.
Say again?
The clerk will be overexpended because of the extra meeting.
Right, but next year there'll be what, two?
We don't know,
Oh, the extra meeting.
the extra
Yeah.
meeting.
That affects a bunch of lines. Since you're
That was under
advertising,
the elections, we
supervising
had a lot of
check
elections
warrants,
this
yeah.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah, all kinds of extras.
So, they budgeted for that, is what you're saying.
Well,
They're showing 1,500 for treasurer.
for like what Jason just mentioned, those items, those all come out, that all comes out of elections or from, not.
Some of it does, yes.
Yeah.
Say again?
Some of the things that Jason just mentioned, like
Yeah.
supervisor checklist, that, some of that.
But when
comes
you,
out of
when you
election.
add meetings, that hits that, it hits a few lines,
Yeah.
it hits that one.
What is the Center Street fill line?
It's the line we use to fill the fire trucks with water. It's a different, it's metered differently than the domestic water.
So explain to me why that's all now a factor.
Because that was part of the mediated agreement, so we had those things installed.
as a result of it, when they shut it off.
No, it was that, the mediated agreement was reached in June or something like that, sometime in August. They asked if the water district asked if they could install the new meters per the new agreement. I ran it by our attorney, and he said, yeah, that's fine, go ahead, let him do it, so we let him do it.
But the agreement, when it went to the voters, was turned away.
Yes.
So that's a metered charge at what rate?
Whatever the rate is for the,
Domestic?
it's the size of meter that it is.
Yeah, they charge it 1 inch, 2 inch, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a 2 inch coming into my property, I pay a different rate than a house that's got 3/4 or 1 inch service.
So this is
But it's a
actually,
residential rate, not a commercial?
It doesn't, they don't discern
They have a
residential
tariff.
versus commercial,
They
it's
have a-
based on the size of the pipe.
volume.
Yeah. And so the reason we have a larger volume for the fill line is because if we used the domestic line to fill the 1,000 gallons, it would take quite a long
You'd
time.
be there a while.
Yeah.
I'm taking that.
So this is for water, you're paying for water.
Yes.
That being the case, why wouldn't you fill it from the hydrant?
Because they don't want us to use the hydrants unless it's an emergency.
And those aren't metered, but at least have being unmetered, and we've said, take what we use, well, that's a step in the right direction.
I agree.
That way we're not stealing cable when we shut it off.
Shed Road Tower monitoring, I know we had a conversation about that, but there's no actuals for that. But we raised and appropriated $996.
Yes, the bill is coming,
Okay. Why 1,475 now?
because that's the cost for next year.
Why is it more?
Ask the company that, you know, maintains the system. It's actually gonna be more than that, but that's, I told them they could take some things out of the deal to get it down to where they.
So a full year versus a partial year, or?
No,
they
it's
both
still a full year.
Full year for each one?
Yeah, so they have this computer that monitors our radio system, the impedance on the antennas. They can change settings remotely, but what they also do is they also come out and check all the connections and everything annually to make sure everything's appropriate, to make sure our radio system's operating properly. It even tells them when it's got sensors, they know when somebody's going in the building, they can tell when the propane tanks are low on the generator. Like, they'll call me, like somebody will be in the building, they'll call me and say, hey, are you in the building? And I'll say, if it's me, I say yes, or somebody else, I'll say I'm not. He says, well, somebody's in the building.
So this is a year-to-year agreement?
Yes. They monitor the environmental conditions within the building, if it gets too hot or too cold.
What page you on?
5, that was Shed Road Tower, right?
And yes, that's what it's.
It's page 5, oh, I'm sorry.
Page 5. Quarter of the way down the page.
And I do remember this conversation, but there will be revenue to offset some of this eventually.
So, yeah, the new tower at Park Street should be online at the very beginning of the first quarter of next year. It's essentially completed, they just have to hook up the electrical and stuff like that. So that, once that's completed, we will start collecting rent revenue from them. 50% of that rent revenue goes to offset the following year's operating expenses, and 50% goes into a fund that the commissioners control to use towards either buildings, maintenance, repairs, or radio infrastructure, things like that.
So total general government building is up by over $20,000.
But a lot of that increase came from
It's electricity,
Electricity,
Electricity.
gas.
yeah. Water.
You said it's how much, how much? Up how much?
Over 20.
If you take line, on page 5, if you take line 4194,
Mhm.
this year it's 68, last year was 47 and change. Figure that was-
The electric doubled.
Not much we can do about insurance, it is what it is. I just turned the page to 6. I mean, some of this we're gonna come back to discuss, like salaries and wages, I'm sure. Unless you wanna discuss it now. I just wanted to be able to get through this.
No, why was there an increase in the website? Looks like it went from like 75 to 4,300.
Because the commissioners want me to have a company come in and build a new website to make it more user-friendly and professional and stuff that we can change, because the only thing we can do on our website now is add documents or take documents away. It's a very old setup and not very user-friendly.
So this would be like a one-time yearly, like a one-time fee, not a yearly fee?
No, it's an annual fee because
Annual.
they'll host it.
Oh,
It's the same company that the town of Northfield is using for their website, and a lot of other municipalities as well.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money on it. I actually find it less user-friendly than the old one,
Yeah.
particularly in a mobile situation. It's not so bad on my desktop,
right.
but on my phone, the thing is, I'm kicking myself in the head for spending the money.
But I think some of that is the way you set it up too.
Like I say, it could be the user. I was just gonna say that.
Why
That's
is
okay,
it
go ahead.
Microsoft Office, why has that jumped up? I mean, I can make some guesses, but
That's our office suite chief, that's
Yes.
the email, that's the Word, Excel.
So as you replace older computers with newer computers, you can't get Office on the computer. Now it's a subscription. And you have to have a subscription per device rather than when you buy it, that's the end of it. So there's an annual cost to that. And with the emails, everybody has to have their own accounts and things like that, so it's
Open Office is free. You have to have physicals every year?
yes.
No kidding.
A lot of it's lab work, right? Because they track your,
We send everybody through a 1582 physical, NFPA 1582 physical standard, which every 5 years is a chest x-ray.
they're tracking carcinogens and all that
Yes.
blood work and stuff. Yep.
They test a lot of stuff. EKGs, pulmonary function test, blood work, flexibility, color blindness, vision, other vision things, hearing.
The truck's blue. No, it's red. It's right in the fire department.
I'm on page 7. So I noticed that the commissioners didn't include Amazon Prime in their budget.
Killjoys.
No more shopping?
That was when they were cutting, when you cut, you said that we could find the money elsewhere.
Trying to follow you, see what page we're
7.
What's that?
on. Still on 7?
No, I just went to 8. That's okay, I haven't asked a question yet.
I didn't hear the turn page first. You're supposed to click it, yeah?
Give me a gavel.
One of those, remember the old slide, field trip things?
I have questions.
Okay.
It's a water cooler.
Yeah, me
So,
too.
I find it interesting, unless it's just unless it's routine maintenance, that some of the appropriations requested for 23 are identical to what was raised and appropriated in 22 for repairs.
Yes, it's, so.
Is it
This PM and state inspection really is
it
Well,
normal
yeah, so what,
maintenance stuff that with
things
fire
that I
trucks?
know that we're gonna be doing
Okay.
because of preventive maintenance, inspections, tires, things like that. Things that I actually know are gonna occur for those vehicles, I've listed right out. The stuff that we don't know is that $20,000 number at the top, which is, if you'll notice, has decreased dramatically.
The other?
Yes, the other has
Makes me
decreased
nuts.
dramatically over the course of the years. I know it doesn't show it on the spreadsheet, but what has been appropriated on that line, and even just 3 years ago, was tremendous.
So what's coming up?
$75,000.
What's coming up on the new ambulance that causes it to be double the old ambulance? 37 on A2 versus
95 on one.
$1,500 on A1.
So so A2 is used more often, so it needs more PMs,
What is it, PM?
preventative maintenance.
Blue oil filter, grease.
Fuel filters, oil filters,
It just,
tires.
it
Really?
just seemed
How
like
often
it,
do you
on the
do
list,
that?
it had like no miles. I mean, 11,000 miles on this report. And,
Yes.
yeah.
So you're
So
preventing.
there's nothing catastrophic that comes our way, it's
No.
just the routine stuff.
So that'll get 3 or 4 PMs
Yeah.
out of it this year.
Preventive, so it's by mileage.
Yeah. Engine hours too, for diesel, idle hours.
It tells us, the light comes right on.
Yeah.
Time to schedule the appointment.
Yeah, I hate that about new cars.
I outsmart you.
631 called for water coolers.
Yes,
Was that exactly what it says?
that is exactly what it says. They're, instead of having bottled water, we have these water coolers that,
They take the 5-gallon bucket, or
they,
whatever it is.
Well, just-
No, it
No.
takes
Filters
the
your tap.
Just filters the water.
from the municipal
town.
source, filters it, cools it.
We have them now.
Yes, we've had them for several years now.
These replacements.
No, it's
No.
the annual maintenance on a service agreement.
Oh,
they come in twice a year.
Yeah, it's much cheaper than bottled water, like if you get Poland Springs or something, it's a lot cheaper.
They break a lot, and they come and just replace it. That's part of the fee. So when it breaks, they come and just fix it.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think I've called them 3 times in the past 3 months. They come right away. They fix it.
It's on water.
She's got to see the red, so she's on the.
Page 12.
10, yeah.
Just, my big question is, we're in the middle of November, got a month and a half to go, right? Or do we have more than that?
Month and a half.
Okay, so we're $500,000 underspent from our appropriated, what are we
Well, that's,
missing?
that's because The appropriations, the actuals are only through the end of October.
Oh, okay.
So there's actually 2 months on that to
Two
go.
full months.
2 full
Yeah.
months,
That's still a lot of money to
yeah.
run through,
Oh,
or not,
yeah.
yeah. If everything went right.
Well, we know
So,
what
fire, dry hydrants and cisterns. I have no new plan.
Oh, that's warrant articles?
Oh.
We haven't done
We
those.
haven't done the warrant
That's-
articles.
yeah, okay. So that's line 775 is maintenance.
Yes.
The divers and the.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a diver on staff.
And you're not gonna put in, they're not suggesting any money in this budget, like even $1 for pressurized hydrants?
So it would be a warrant article at this point, right?
Yes.
Yep.
If there was $1 in this, and there was money left over, could you use, you could, or you could move money around, they could use it to pay for hydrants.
Or you could give it
But
back to
if
the
there's
taxpayers.
no
Or you
appropriation
could
for
lower the tax
hydrants.
rate with it.
Oh, we can't, but there's no dollar amount in there, so we can't put it in, that's the way I understand it correctly. There's not even a dollar in there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so there's no line for pressurized hydrants, basically. Okay.
That was the whole thing, we backed it out of there and did it warrant article.
Right.
Right, but if you still left a line open in there for it, budget money
It's a
could be
trap.
used.
It's a trap.
Well, you can do that, Captain. The
What?
budget committee can put that dollar in.
Yes, they could. All right, anybody? Really?
What are you looking for?
Yeah.
I'm looking for budget questions, something you want to see reduced, or question, you know.
You wanna start at the
What the
beginning
heck?
and just start going through it, and making the, motions to approve or, and second, then we can discuss it and then forward or vote on it, or.
I'm kind of a bottom line person.
Yeah, I
said
think
that
that's a
last
great
year.
idea.
I approve the bottom line after I get done carving.
Go straight to the bottom and vote on
Doesn't
it.
usually go that easily.
Yeah, I
I'm all
know.
for it though.
What was that, the lawnmower thing last year?
Oh, yes.
We get hung up on
Hours.
park mulch, you know, the big things.
I mean,
What was it, $500?
Yeah.
made me scratch my
Paper
hands.
towels,
It's all right.
you know.
I'm open though. I could-
Want to come away winning something. Didn't work.
$350.
Didn't work.
So let's start with page 3 and just go through it. If anybody has a question about a requested appropriation, speak right up.
As far as salaries and wages go, I need to have you complete that line by the end of this month, because there are forms that I have to complete for the employees during open enrollment for their insurance and stuff like that. And a lot of the information is based on salaries and wages. So, sorry,
Even if the voting body didn't approve it?
right,
Wow.
I'm
I know.
Go
sorry.
sideways.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
It's open enrollment, and I have
I'm
to
not
do it in
surprised,
that
though.
period.
Here's the form, but in March. we
It could
pull the
change
rug
it.
out.
And they understand that.
All right.
Okay, everybody go to the total executive.
At what?
$1,250 increase.
$9,250.
Right.
Nope. Level funded.
What was the justification for the treasurer, like, pay increase? Like,
That's what he had always made
Yeah.
in the past.
If you look at
A
number of
21
years.
actuals,
Because I remember last year we lowered it to the 750.
Yeah,
So
we
now, I guess I'm trying to figure out why we would raise it. If last year we lowered it to 750, why would
And we agreed, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the amount of responsibility that the treasurer has. The commissioners felt it was, that he deserved. The-
He has the same responsibility he's had since day one, however, he no longer attends meetings. Treasurer used to attend with Dylan Seymour.
Very rarely.
He never attended the meeting when I was there.
I was gonna say, he almost, once or twice I saw Roland. That's,
I
I
can
never
tell you
saw
that
him.
when I sat as a commissioner, that guy was at the.
Well, maybe it's a
but you
commissioner.
have to remember, the treasurer is not the finance officer, so why would the treasurer attend meetings? I mean, unless you got a question about balancing the books and
And we also,
stamping the,
so
signing
does,
checks.
what does he do?
So, when the bills come in, I review them. Finance codes them to go into the right account. After that's done, there's a warrant that is,
The manifest.
manifest that is developed.
Yeah.
I review the manifest, make sure it's accurate.
The treasurer.
The treasurer reviews the manifest, make sure it's accurate. Then the commissioners review the manifest and make sure it's agreeable to them. So there's a process that every time there's a manifest developed, he has to go through it. He also does all the dealings with the banks, not the day-to-day bank stuff, but, you know, our investments and things like that. He deals with to make sure that we have getting the best interest rates and things like that.
So aren't the investments
They're with the trustees of the trust funds.
trustees of the trust funds in the
Yes.
towns?
Yes, but we have to give the trustees direction as to how we want those invested.
So how many hours in a year would you say work he does? Is it tough to estimate, or like how many manifestos do you do?
There's 2 manifests a month,
2 a month. Okay.
yes.
Well, I just feel like it was more this month.
Well,
Sometimes we do catch up
yes,
when there's a lot.
there's a minimum of 2,
It's typically 2, right?
right.
2 a month.
And balancing the checkbooks and making sure all the accounts and everything,
It's every month.
yes.
He makes the deposits, doesn't he, or has somebody else been authorized by him to make deposits?
I have been authorized to make the deposits.
Okay.
I have a little reader that sits on my desk,
Oh, town clerk does that now.
yes,
Oh, like the micro reader.
yes. I put it through and,
Well, I make a motion to fund line 4130, level funded to last year at 8,000. Second discussion.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Nay.
how much was it for, Jason?
The level funded of
Level
20,
funded.
the 8,000.
Jane, how did you vote? Yea or nay?
Aye. Aye,
To level fund?
yes.
Okay, so I heard 4 votes to level fund. Okay. So, legal expense. I understand why the 40,000. The 12,666, oh, that's a great number. Obviously, there's some bills outstanding.
Yeah, I think we've, I think in the manifest last night, there was one, is it 2,600?
Yes,
Yeah.
but there will still be more bills coming in.
It's,
We still
yeah,
have
because even at the meeting, you said you were about into it for about 18-ish.
Yes.
Yeah, we should, the last 2 years, we spent about 18,000. If we have to go to trial, that's an additional 20,000 that's, so we're up to like 37,000, plus he still has to review contracts and other agreements that we have, and also the easements, writing of the easements for our dry hydrants and cisterns and things like that, that he has to review and prepare and record for us, so.
You have a contract with him? Or is it hourly?
Contract? No, he's just
By the hour.
by the hour.
All right,
At what
we
rate?
skipped a couple.
Yes.
I make a motion, we fund line 4140 elections at $2,500, because we haven't spent that in the last 3 years.
We haven't finished on this year. There's a
This year's
meeting that's
not done.
not recorded yet.
We didn't spend it in 20 or 21.
You think we're only gonna have one meeting next year?
So you have,
I put 2,500. I don't think we're gonna spend 4,000.
Well,
That's double.
the meeting that was held on Saturday was not, is not in that 2130, so that additional expenses could be in there, and we don't know if we're gonna have to have another meeting next year.
I don't care what we spent this year. What are we gonna spend next year? We're doing next year's budget.
I understand that, but we don't know if we have to have 2 meetings again next year.
All right, so do we just throw money into something
So,
because we
how
don't
much does a
know?
meeting cost?
well, it depends on if it's a meeting or an election,
That's
doesn't it?
Well,
We
not,
don't have ballot clerks at a
not
meeting.
for the fire district. Because every year there is someone being elected. A commissioner comes up every year,
Right.
every 2 years is the clerk.
But that's done at the election portion.
Right.
We have a
That's-
deliberative
that's-
session and an election portion.
And that all
So we
comes
didn't have an
under,
election Saturday, we had a deliberative session.
right.
Well, deliberative session is a lot cheaper than
So what's the cost for the, so
election.
what happens Saturday?
We don't know yet.
we haven't, so there's the police
So you got
detail.
they have the attorney there.
We have the
attorney,
attorney,
That's
the
your
police
legal
detail,
right.
School
the
chair.
school fee, the clerks,
Supervisors.
supervisors of the
2.
thing.
2 towns
2 towns,
supervisors.
the 2 towns. The PA person,
Right. Dumpka.
yeah.
So,
I think we can, no matter what happened this year, if we're $500,000 underspent, we'll be able to squeak out $1,000 to take care of whatever happened on Saturday. My point is next year should be back to normal, so looking at 2020, 21, we never even spent more than $2,000. So I'm appropriating an extra $1,000 versus 20 and 21. I just don't see why we need $4,000.
And I'm sorry, what was your motion for?
$2,500 for elections.
Anybody?
was it seconded?
Was it seconded?
I'll second it.
It is now. Any more discussion on the motion on the table? Because we weren't right to discussion, I'm sorry. All right, all those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Auditing, you're kind of tough to get away from.
That is true, and
Is
that,
the audit completed?
for this year, for 21, yes.
So that was,
But that final bill just came in.
say again?
The final bill to bring to 8,100 just came in.
Oh,
I make a motion, we approve line 4150 at the commissioner's number of 8,200.
Second.
discussion. So you're gonna
Are
do
we
this
actually
line by
required
line?
to have an audit every year?
Yes.
Yes.
Since when?
For quite a while now, for
Since
several
I've been here.
years.
So there must have been a change in the law?
Yes.
Because when I was commissioner, we got away from annual and went to every 3 years.
Can't. It has to be an annual now.
And
So
almost a lot of the stuff that we do requires copies of our audit.
Yeah,
Federal
grants and stuff,
and
right.
everything that we get, they need, they won't take it. Send a
It
copy.
it takes money to make money, especially with grants.
Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Right.
Opposed? Legal expense. Why the $10,000 difference, Eric?
Well, part of it is if we go to trial.
Something you
It was
anticipated,
$20,000 right off the top.
the commissioners anticipated, the chief didn't?
At the time when the chief presented his budget, we didn't have the results of
Saturday.
Oh, Saturday?
Saturday. So,
Oh, I'm glad it's not 50,000.
No.
Because you paid it.
Yeah.
All right,
I make a motion, we go for the 40,000 commissioner's budget on the legal expense.
I second that.
any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed?
No.
Health insurance. So, the health insurance,
Why don't we do the total? Do we need to do each one of those?
say what?
Do we have to do each one of
Yeah,
those?
you wanna drop down to 4156 administration?
I had a question.
4155, you need total.
55, sorry, Lori.
I have a question on the health insurance.
Ask away.
Is that based on, that's just based on what coverage the employees have, right? So the number of employees and what coverage they choose to have.
That's correct.
What is the employee contribution?
12%.
12%.
Is insurance a contract?
Yes,
How many years?
1 year. Annually.
But the Social Security and Medicare, the FICA is based on wage.
Correct.
Correct.
So,
So if wages changed, those numbers are pulled out.
When
Or
was
we
it made known?
approve more
that-
wages,
I'm sorry.
those numbers.
right, so those numbers are changed, so I'm suggesting we go to page 5 and talk about wages and salaries.
But that has nothing to do with health insurance.
No, but it has everything to do with Medicare and Social Security.
what can you do?
When was it made known that the insurance is gonna increase 12%?
About October
Middle
20th.
of October. Yeah, middle to end.
Was it shopped anywhere else?
There's really only one company in New Hampshire where this is a collaborative. It wasn't shopped to individual companies. This is almost every municipality in New Hampshire, unless they're self-insured, like Manchester and Nashua.
It's only up
The health
3%
trust.
over 2 years ago. Last year it dropped 8% because of COVID.
So if you take the average over 5 years, it's a 2.8% increase per annum. So it's a big increase over last year, but last year was a large decrease. So you spread out the changes and it comes out to like 2.8, 2.9% increase annually.
Is that through interlocal trust?
Health trust. Is that what it is until?
Yeah, it's health trust.
Health trust.
Do you have access to interlocal trust? Because I know you can do an RFP through them, because there's usually 3 big contenders with them.
I don't know.
'Cause you use Harvard Pilgrim, or what's the end product for the user?
Anthem.
Yeah.
Anthem.
really what's the word in the rank and file? Does everybody like it? Are they happy with what they have? Yes.
Yes, they're happy with what they have.
Yeah. That's fine.
Well, it's too late to do an RFP anyways for next year. Those take months to come back, so really this would be a discussion for next year's budget.
24.
If that's something that they wanted to shop out and see.
Well, the problem is next year, we're in the same position as we are right now, because nobody did anything about it. 'Cause everybody just wants to stay status quo. Anybody know what the town of Tilton is seeing for increase?
The same amount.
Same
Close. I wanted to say 12%, 10 or 12%.
What's Northfield?
Not sure, but I believe it's 12%, because that got my attention.
I didn't see a representative from Northfield at the meeting. Doesn't mean that they didn't have to go to the one I went to either.
No, I think we do something different, actually.
But sometimes your governing bodies, floor insurance, and everybody knows this, can look at different packages within the insurance that may not offer as much, but are cheaper. So you might have a little more out-of-pocket expense as the employee,
Have higher deductibles or whatever.
you know,
Well, they're deductible
office
for pay
visits.
from another account.
We're supposed to
Blah, blah.
be doing HSAs versus PPOs. Is this a PPO plan, I assume?
Yes, it is,
Yeah.
yes.
Most are.
Did you want to move over to discuss salary and wages, or make a motion with the, I mean, my assumption would be Social Security, Medicare would be adjusted to reflect whatever salaries and wages were
Yeah, we
approved.
wouldn't really have to vote on it until after it.
So you want a motion on total
Total
personnel?
personnel
So
administration,
moved.
899832.
Mm-hmm.
Any more discussion?
Need a second?
What's the
Oh,
motion?
Second it for discussion.
The motion is to go for total personnel administration for $899,832, basically the commissioners.
The administration spelled wrong, just so you
D,
You're right, it is.
Hmm?
Administration is spelled wrong.
know.
There's no D.
Did
I
use
know.
the grammar.
Threw me out for a minute.
10 people sitting in the room looking at numbers, and he's over there playing hooked on phonics.
That's all right, it's fixed now.
You-
It'll be corrected.
Why didn't Grammarly pick that up, you know?
I don't have Grammarly.
Okay.
Chief does.
Any discussion on the motion on the table?
It's been seconded.
Did it get
Yes.
seconded? Okay.
Yes.
Jason seconded it.
But do we want to do salary and wages first before we do that? Or come back to it?
They would switch, they would change it anyway.
Populate it.
Okay.
And we'll get another budget and we can look, make sure they have changed to whatever and then. Hearing none,
No, of what?
discussion?
No, I don't suggest we rock the boat on benefits at all. If our pay is not competitive, you know, speaking as an individual who's working for the state and took a pay cut for the insurance, I would not, you know, want to rock the boat on insurance. That's part of the lifestyle of the staff we have.
As a selectman, I was never in favor of messing with
Yeah.
those benefits. Anyway, having said that. All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Ayes have it. All right. Page 4.
Holman Tower, Shed Road Tower.
Yes. We'll change the name to Shed Road. It's spelled.
Do you think heating fuel's only gonna go up 38.4%?
We hope.
That's what the,
It's like an index for that.
yes, that's the CPI index, that's what I kind of used to give me an indicator of where we're gonna be. It was off last year, I'll tell you that much.
So they're both natural gas, right?
Yes.
Who's the supplier?
Liberty Utilities.
You can buy that fuel other places. Their increase was extreme. Just last night, we signed, well, we agreed. Which I don't even know, but it was a lot less than that.
Is there like a co-op for that stuff, or?
Yeah, it's a deal that, I can't remember the name of the organization, but includes the town of Northfield, the school district, and the Pines.
So is it like,
It's like electricity, where you can.
where, is it, so you're buying the gas from one place and the delivery charge is another thing like electricity, or?
It wasn't broke down that way, which kind of confused me last night, but the, what is it, per therm?
Yes.
I think the big company was like $1.79, and we were like $1.18.
Look into that, but I wasn't aware of that.
I wouldn't be honest until last night.
If you look into that and we could enter into that this year, would that change these figures then, Chief?
I don't know if we can enter into it right now.
That's what I'm asking.
I don't, so
Oh.
You guys have been looking at.
I just gotta keep that.
Yeah, I don't know what the parameters are of, entering into that agreement. I don't know. I know we were told the price can change daily. I do remember that. But we should go to 4194 first, shouldn't we?
Yes.
I'll move 4194 at 2218.
Oh,
Huh?
What?
That's like 60.
4194.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Total
talking about
company
410, electricity?
Yeah.
4194.
well, 4194 is
Yeah.
Oh,
general.
General government buildings,
I'm sorry.
that's what he's talking about.
Okay.
Scratch that. Scratch that. Pay no attention to the man behind the
Well,
curtain.
if you want to do the total, that's on page 5.
Yeah.
8892.
Yeah. Do push mower.
We're not going there this year.
But it's in there, it's funny, I'm just laughing, because it's the first one I came to. So, I heard you talking about the water softener and the filter. But what's the 5,500 for Center Street Station? We keep putting about that same amount of money into Center Street Station
Yeah, we
each
keep
year.
spending about the same amount every year to keep it, stuff just keeps breaking it,
So, what's the deal with the water softener and filter?
So, the water that comes out of the faucets to wash the trucks and stuff like that,
Minerals.
it's eating the glass and the paint.
Manganese,
This is
right?
water from the water district, correct?
Right.
State certified, safe to drink. We can't put it on our glass and our paint.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'll probably pits the aluminum and.
That's what makes little pinholes in your copper tubing, your copper water lines, is the manganese.
Yeah.
Are we sure that's not actually a sewer line?
But so is this a one-time fee?
The two commissioners here, we can find out.
So, is
This is what they're putting their big filtration system up. The water districts for the manganese, I believe.
Well, not if
So-
we don't buy gold-plated hydrants.
$3,500 for a water softener and filter for Park Street Station.
And that's why we have to pay the hydrant fee, don't forget, because they're putting that filtration system.
Where are we
That are getting federal grant money.
buying these systems for that kind of money?
That's a budgetary, we got the quote is from the local company
The
here.
chances?
Yes,
Yes, and when we go to install it, we'll get
So-
3 bids on it,
Is the quote 3,500?
yes.
I've been quoting water systems for a month. They're all way more than that.
We don't have the quote.
It's about the size of a home one, we just put the second one in. It's about that,
That's what I need, is one for my new house.
and we got two.
You have
They
two?
want us to keep the old one and use the new one, so it's working. I don't know, it's Culligan,
Culligan?
Big
Oh, we're
Culligan.
paying way too much.
Yeah, we always went with Culligan.
Hey, Culligan, man.
That's why they're good to
And they
us.
show up in their Brinks truck.
They bring the salt,
Oh, you're on the maintenance system, they bring it, you don't touch it.
right?
Here you go.
Alrighty then, go to page 5. Total general government buildings, unless there's more questions about those itemized requests.
Is there a filter going in Center Street too?
Yes.
So you're doing 2 for 3,500?
No, Sense would be 3,500, Potsdam's 3,500.
Where's
Is that
Park
in here as
Street?
well?
Yes.
There it is. Way to spend $7,000 would make, making it look so bad. Split it up.
Should also save all the plumbing stuff that we have to keep replacing.
But
Toilet
Did-
valves, the sink valves.
So the motion, 4194, I make a motion for that line, 68,092,
I'll second it.
Wait a minute, where are you?
4194.
Page five.
Page 5, total general government.
4194.
Okay. A second?
I'll second it. Molly did.
All right, I have a question. What training facility are we putting this equipment in?
You know the Connex buildings behind the Pot Street Fire Station?
The what?
The Connex.
Storage
boxes.
boxes, those 40-foot containers that are like Jenga. The Dennis Manning Training Facility, formerly known as, next to the new cell phone tower, if you haven't seen that.
So
I've
that's
seen-
where it is.
Look at the tower, you go down, and there's a stack of,
I'm very seldom in Hatfield.
They're the height of the town.
So you're gonna put a training facility?
It's already
It's
there.
already there,
it's been there for years.
So why all of a sudden we,
because
is this one piece of
we
equipment?
added a floor, and now we need to build stairs and windows.
It's like
and all
habit
that kind of
trail,
stuff.
hamster stuff, they're adding
Because this is
features.
equipment, not
Where else we gonna put that?
repairs or,
It's,
because I, there's
well,
gonna,
it's,
because that equipment is expensive. So I just, it's fine, I'm good. All right, any more discussion on the motion on the table? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
All right,
Normally, I would have wanted to make a downward adjustment, but I think the utilities are gonna clobber us.
Thank you.
It's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
total insurance,
Make a motion for on total insurance, 86,319.
second. Any discussion on the motion on the table?
Did you get a reduction, is your property liability and, there's 3 things in one group, right? One goes up, one goes down.
it's,
You got a 9.7 on property and liability. Workers' comp, did that go up or down? Or did that
It went
stay?
up.
it went up because this was the first year that we had, full year that we had the additional employees.
They do it on your previous year's payroll exposure.
Yes.
We can make them all instructors. Can we subcontract to fight fires, ambulance? Think they believe us?
Then they're not employees,
No.
independent contractors, all 1099.
Yeah, the feds won't believe it either,
Yeah.
and that'll cost you a whole lot more money.
Yeah.
I'd like to be there.
See also legal expense
Yes.
and
All right,
bail.
any more discussion?
Bail money.
Motion on the table. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No contingency fund.
That's a
That's a
warrant
warrant
article.
article.
Wasn't last year.
Yes, it was.
It's always,
Then why
always
is it-
is.
Why is it in the 29,404 raised and appropriated?
Because it shows up so that you would know what you had last year.
Oh, so you put the warrant articles in here too.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Oh, he sends me sideways.
You want me
Okay.
to take them out?
No, that's good. Just don't smack me if I ask more than once.
It's okay.
All right, salaries and wages, here we go.
Question on the call salaries. What, I know we can only look back to 2020. Do you know what like 2019 or 18 was, just to get a baseline?
Hang on.
'Cause I didn't know if that was like an anomaly of a year at the 88.
Yeah, if that was a bump or if it was, it's coming down.
Yeah.
I know you guys don't have these, pass these out to me.
2020, that was COVID. A lot of people were hanging out at home, more free time to show up at an event.
I'm pulling it up right now, so I can read it.
Did you get the narrative? Did you get the narrative?
Chief, do you have an extra copy? I lost my narrative somewhere. I had one.
Yep.
Dog ate your homework.
Dog ate my homework. Good excuse.
He fed
As
it
long as
to
it's a good dog, it's okay.
She's a golden retriever. She's
Oh,
a
that's good
Oh,
dog.
That's a good dog.
Great dog.
Yeah, Maggie's a sweetheart. All right, so you wanted to know about call salaries. What year do you want to know about?
Just another day. If you have 19,
19.
18 maybe.
Okay, so 18 was $64,447.50. And 19 was $78,950.50.
Is that because of the different numbers you had available that work?
There's a lot of factors.
A lot of that, a lot of
come
different
into that.
factors.
Some is the number of call employees that we have, the number of responses that they actually go to,
Okay.
It's a
the number of trainings that they go to.
All right, that explains it then.
Mhm.
Like, we have Touch a Truck at the outlet mall, you know, how many of them go to that and that.
So it's hard to predict what it will be.
Yes.
So I have a formula that predicts what it could be and what, really what I want it to be. which is actually in the narrative. It comes up with a certain number of hours, and considering what their rate of pay is, what we come up with for a dollar figure. And then I look at, is
But
it-
you haven't come close to any of that.
No,
But you projected 120.
yeah.
I don't
which is-
understand why
Well,
you've done that.
10,000, I did that because I increased the salary of the the call firefighters by $1 an hour.
What is it?
So next year, well, depending, what's in
I'm sorry.
Depends on their qualifications.
depends on their qualifications, but it's basically everybody's getting $1 an hour.
Does this document you just gave us reflect that?
Yes, it reflects the increase in pay.
Okay.
So it's a lower. So it runs
So that they start
14,
for the
20.
probationary firefighter at $14 an hour. Not right now, currently it's $13 an hour, but starting January 1st.
So lieutenant is 17.
So the pluses,
Mhm.
those remain the same. So the only ones that change is this one, and this one.
So your,
So the deputy chief gets what is it?
An hourly rate.
Stipend plus
Yeah.
hourly.
Yes.
What's the peril, do you think, of level funding against the 1.6 of last year? Or current year? Because it doesn't appear to be spent in 20 or 21. Because the reality of call comes in way under. I mean, we tried to reel in overtime and it just never happened. Remember, we made a conscious effort to approve a lower overtime amount, but it's invariably gonna go up because the more people you add, you're always gonna add those vacations and holidays and time off.
So when we discussed that with the commissioners, they definitely took that into consideration into what I recommended and what they recommend. It's that $20,000 difference. Additionally, they recommended a different raise than I did as well.
Now, Chief, do you have a raise and a COLA in your number?
No.
It's strictly a COLA. There's no-
This is strictly a COLA this
Strictly
year?
a COLA.
Okay.
I didn't ask for any step raises or incentive pay or anything like that.
Merit or anything.
All right, so
Just hold.
this was just an informational to just show where we're at, but
Yes.
you don't have there's no plan to upgrade on this time? Okay. Wow. That's a pretty steep COLA.
It's-
I think the state's getting like 1.5, 2.
I work at the Veterans Home, I just got 15%.
Percent?
Yeah,
Holy crap.
From where?
at the Veterans Home.
What do you do?
I'm a nurse, I'm a registered
Yeah,
nurse
okay,
up there, is that why?
gotcha. Yeah, maybe.
And I get a
Yeah.
retention bonus too.
Yeah.
nurses are in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and they're hiring, look at the want ads, right? It's
Yeah.
all healthcare.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought that was a whole state thing, I didn't realize it was just the Veterans Home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could be doing incentives for healthcare. That makes sense. But the COLAs have been generally pretty flat.
Do you see any change back on call, like do you see any change in, because of the increased staffing, less need for them potentially for coming back for second calls and stuff?
So what I actually see is during the day, we have regularly one call firefighter that comes back that helps out quite a bit. And,
Because he works in town, works himself or something?
yes.
Yeah. Yep.
So he's able to bring the ambulance out and bring an engine back and stuff like that, shuffle things around. But generally during the hour, you get to about 4 o'clock, 4:30 to 8 o'clock, 8:30 or so. If we have calls, we'll get a larger response from the call folks because they're home from their regular job. just before they have to go to bed and get ready to go to work the next morning. Of course, if we have a fire, everybody wants to come out for a fire, but hardly anybody wants to come out for,
Car accident
car accident, or Mabel fell out of bed and
Yeah.
was throwing up on herself, and,
or, yeah.
sorry. I was gonna say something worse, but I
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
amended it.
For me, that is worse.
Yeah.
Grandpa fell down in the shower and was that clean?
I think the call salary and wages, with the exception of deputy chief, should be raised.
I'm not against that. I've been
From
raising
what,
it-
from what it's been raised to,
I've been raising
Kevin?
it I've been raising it $1 a year for the last few years.
from what he raised it to.
Beyond what he's thinking.
What is your average call member getting? Like, cause there's a lot of ones that really most people should have on here. So what is the average salary right now? Cause it's not gonna be the 14 for very long.
No, they usually go to 17 right away, then if they get driver operator, they get another $1, so that's 18. If they get firefighter 2, that brings them up to 19. That's where most of them are.
19.
19.
Okay, yeah.
And there's no benefits for these people.
No.
No.
We get all the benefit from them.
Right.
We give them squat.
Except don't these people have other full-time jobs?
Yes.
So that's where their benefits come from. This is a part-time job for them.
Yes.
Right, but
Very good.
their other job is not requiring them to possibly run into a burning building or other things. They can do that.
But that's their choice to do
No, I
that,
get it.
part-time job.
Well, I get it.
We're up to
I
14
would-
people on the call force now, which is about 2 more than we had last year.
So without me reading into the document, are the pay rates for the call folks the same for the qualifications with the full-time folks?
No.
It's not even on parity?
So,
Help me out, because I, you know.
so a career firefighter, what we require when you get on the job
Yeah,
is you have to be firefighter 1, firefighter 2, have your CDL, have your hazmat operations,
right.
and your advanced EMT. And we start them at $19.61 an hour.
Okay. Wow.
But you could with these call firefighters.
I would think that they should at least make the same rate because they're not getting insurance and those benefits and stuff. I would think that would be,
It would be less expensive for the district if you came up with some kind of, at the end of the year, bonus.
So they do get a bonus if they respond to like 15% of the call volume. Is it 15?
It's 15 hours or
15
more,
hours,
they
yeah.
get an extra $1 per hour for that month.
It's not much, sorry,
Isn't that a
bonus.
nightmare to account for? Really?
Actually, no, it isn't. Yes, that's easy. You know,
Yeah,
if they do 14
Yeah.
hours, they don't get it, if they do 15, they do.
So maybe you ought to work on the bonus part.
What do you, this is so, I mean, we're only at 40,000 though for the year. Is there,
That's the end of October.
Yes, because we still have November and December.
so we're averaging $4,000 a month in 10 months.
Yeah.
So it could be still under 50K.
And I'm not opposed if we wanted to lower that to 75 from 100.
I would just assume that we can hit the bottom line of total salaries and wages and they can, because clearly it's gonna get moved around
I agree.
after that, based on need, and if we just level fund the total cap of 1.6 or
So you want to do 1603?
So you're suggesting level fund it, which
No,
will,
I.
level fund that one, that bottom line.
No.
That's, you know, if they want
Total
if they wanna
wages.
if they wanna give the guys a COLA and there's, you're not gonna spend all the call money, so there's money sitting in there that's been
Oh, I see what you're saying.
underspent. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't really matter what the 4 lines are, because you have people coming and going, and those numbers are just such they're always in a state of flux. Look at our police department, when we had so much staffing shortage, we bought 2 cars.
So, our call for us, we have a group of guys that have been here for quite a long time. And then it's like in 2 groups. The younger folks that have been here for a few years, and then there's the older folks that have been here for a long time.
Right. Yeah, the old guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see where Kevin's coming from.
So-
I'm all about making, strengthening and retaining and incentivizing the call for it and rewarding the call for it.
So they said.
It just occurred to me, we can't set the hourly rate anyway.
No.
You can.
As the commissioners.
And you should.
I don't agree with level funding. I'll make a motion to fund it for $1,715,258, which is what the commissioner's budget is.
I'll second it.
And that results in a COLA of how much?
7.65.
7.65. And it leaves the call wages at 100,000.
I think you could still accomplish a 5% COLA if we level funded, because there's money in there that's not being used.
We want to try and stay away from being at the bottom of the list here. That's the.
That's why
And
Well, I
even-
guess-
even with my recommendation.
Well, I guess that's what I just
Still
asked
pretty near the
10
bottom.
minutes ago, Chief, is you're not doing anything on this, you're not putting their hourly wages up in this, right?
Yes,
Yes.
I thought you were doing a COLA
that is a COLA.
That
The
is a
COLA is
COLA.
included in this number.
in this number.
So the 3 colored lines.
Yeah.
Yellow is where we are currently.
Right,
Red is where I wanted to be.
Yep.
Which was the COLA of 9.1%.
correct.
The commissioners are recommending a 7.65%, and that's the other color, green line.
green.
So what I'm saying is, we appropriated last year 1.6 million, and we're not even spent to 1.3.
But we're
You could
only-
still do
Still
this.
got-
We
We're
still
only
have
2
2 whole
months
months
in.
Yeah.
left to pay.
Right,
this-
so-
this thing.
Okay, so we've averaged 120K a month. So another 120 is 390. And then the other one is 510, 520.
I don't have
So you're still gonna be,
the monthly spreadsheet.
on
Looking at
averages,
salaries. You know how, my report at the end of the month.
Yes.
So when I look at our report, our percentages, when we get to near the end of the month,
yep,
what percentage we are in overtime, where we are in overtime, and where we are within the calendar year, we're right on those numbers, our salary line and overtime line. In fact, our overtime line's a little higher and the salary line's a teeny bit lower, but taken together, we're right where we're supposed to be budget-wise. We don't have that.
so I guess if we appropriated 110,000 in call salary, there's half of that money is not gonna be spent by the end of the year. You're not gonna spend
So the
80
call
grand.
salary line is a separate line altogether.
Right,
which
but
we're-
I'm
Which we
looking
do
at-
have, we have underutilized because they haven't shown up in the numbers that I would prefer that they do.
So I guess what I'm saying is we're not, we would be underspent with it in that bottom line, total salaries and wages, because of call And
That's the only reason.
that's the only reason?
Yeah.
Yes, because at the end of October, you were, oops, I think I went too far. It was 86.9% through the budget.
Is this gentleman here for the town of Tilden or for the fire department?
Tilton, I think.
So you want me to go down this hallway here?
Yeah.
And up the stairs?
Ah, thanks.
Good job again.
This is very interesting.
You know, tie on and stuff.
He's
He's the
the
principal.
principal of the
Middle
school.
The commissioner's budget has 100,000 in call,
Yes.
which has never been spent.
So here's where I'm coming from. If I took the 2022 appropriation of call it 1.19, I did 1.2, and I bumped that 5%, and then I added 55,000 for holiday pay, I added 250,000 for overtime, and 50,000 for call salary, I got 1.605. So pretty damn near close to level funding the bottom line and giving a 5% bump over the appropriation of career salaries and wages. So there's still money in there if you just do this, you just shuffle stuff around. So that's a 5% COLA, is pretty damn healthy in this.
It's not competitive.
Are you
though.
going back up there?
I might need to be paying the employees so that we're not losing
Oh, I
employees.
understand that. What was the last COLA?
Last year was around the same, 9 point something. And
Last year we adjusted the wages because they were
Right, we
significantly
adjusted-
low,
we
so
adjusted the
they
base
should
rate.
be pretty good. I mean,
Well,
I
they're
don't-
not if, they're not if you look at the.
No, well, these are, some of these
Are these-
communities weren't used to compare these the
So
wages.
This list is of current openings.
yes,
There's no comparison department to department.
Right.
Right,
well, there doesn't need to be because there's so few firefighters available to work in the state. It's a statewide pool that I'm competing with,
The last time we had an opening, how long did it take us to fill it?
a month or two.
But then they leave, they get trained by us,
So
spend our money, and then they go someplace else, and that's what's happening.
I'll use what's
I don't think
happening
we
in
want
Franklin currently. 7 openings. They're continuing hiring people who either go to the fire academy for 3 weeks or 4 weeks or a month, and they go to New Bedford, or they go down to Hollis, or they go to Hudson or Salem because they're already in the system. It's not. It's just a transfer. It's not even the thing. They already had their physical that they can transfer. They've already had their training and certs. They could transfer. They're just leaving that community right now because they're woefully underpaid, and we're really close to that right now. We don't want to be there.
Yeah, we're $4 an hour above them.
$3.56. They were $3.80 below the top.
Right there. That's where we are right now.
Would everybody start at the 2110, or would there be flexibility to have laterals higher?
So laterals can get hired at a higher rate. We do have that flexibility. I know a lot of departments are putting that in place now, and that helps keep you competitive.
So the 2110 would only be somebody that's never been full-time before, and then have the certs,
They'd have to have
they'd
this,
start.
yeah, certs,
Okay.
and usually like less than a year. Even if they had 8 months' experience, they'd still be starting
Okay.
down there. Would have to be more than a year before I would consider changing that.
So, $1961 is current. Add 5% to that, where is it?
Well, that's what Jason was doing. What was it, Jason?
What's that?
5% to it.
Yeah, it came out of like 1,608. I mean, you could go call it 1,610,000.
The other option.
And that's over the appropriation. That's not over the actual.
Brings it to $20.59.
Well, what else we could do too, a lot of communities are doing a split, so they do a 6-month bump, so you could, you know, make it 7 or whatever, 7, and then just split it, so it'd be the first chunk when the first budget cycle, and then the second chunk, so you'd still get to that 2110 in this budget cycle. Yeah, I know, but.
Call the question?
Nope, we have a,
I'd just like to, I've been here for a long time. You guys have been great, and you guys got us to the middle. And once we got to the middle, we stopped losing people. When I started, everyone who got here left. They came, they left, they came, they left, they came, they left. And you got us to the middle. We're never going to be Laconia. We're never going to pay like Concord. We're never going to pay like Salem. And the guys here don't expect you to. We never would expect to be at the highest. We understand that this is a middle-income community, and we need to be right below the middle. That's where we need to stay. And I just, you guys have done very good at keeping us there, and
Right,
we thank you.
right.
And I just want to make sure that you guys, as long as you keep us right there, right below the middle, and that's where we need to be, and that's where we're going to keep. We keep guys lucky because we have a good firehouse. That's the other portion of this.
Good culture.
Good culture, and it keeps guys. And I look at Franklin, I look at Guilford, I look at what Laconia's going through. Laconia's finally got to where they need to be. Even Concord's having trouble hiring people, and we're not, and there's something to be said about that. And if we fall back to that, lower income, like we're going to go through Franklin. And Franklin, I love Franklin. I've worked with those guys for years.
Right.
We had a fire at the middle school yesterday. I didn't recognize any of them, and they just not. They're not trained. They're not ready. Their deputy chief was riding the back of a fire truck because they can't staff. Their deputy chief shouldn't be acting as a firefighter. That's not what his job is.
Sure.
So I just think of that. We never want to be the highest paid. We know we're never going to be the highest paid, and we don't need to be the highest paid. But just keep us right below that middle, and that's what keeps the guys here. And
The middle of what?
the middle of the Lakes region, the middle of central New Hampshire. You know what I mean?
I've been saying it since '05. I'm not into buildings and I'm not really into trucks, but it's the talent.
Yeah. When you call 911, the fire station doesn't come.
Right.
When it doesn't. You could spend $15 million on that fire station. It's not traveling.
Stationary.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I'm sorry to say. I've been saying.
I like that.
I've been saying that for 20 years. Just give me some good guys and a good and a truck that pumps, and I can do all the work.
Yeah.
If you notice, the guys I'm calling for all that, they just keep us there. Just keep us right below that middle of the central New Hampshire. And we have a good firehouse and we can make it work.
So that middle is 2122, and the commissioners approved 2110, which is what I'm recommending we approve. Damn close to that middle. Now may I call a question?
I seldom want to do anything the commissioners do.
oh yes, I'm sorry.
Just
You
saying.
yes.
Try and let her know something. Let Scott know that you're down here.
Oh,
Because I know you're supposed to be upstairs.
yeah, they're just interviewing outside the agency, so this is more important.
No, no.
Sounds terrible, but. All right. We have a request to go to the vote. Any more discussion?
What's the,
So right now, the motion on the table is the $1,715,258.
that's what,
Is that correct, Jane?
That's correct.
So Jane, you think we're gonna spend $100,000?
So that's 7.5.
So you think we're gonna spend $100,000 in call salary this year? Based on the last 3 years of not even,
I don't know. And the chief, in his best estimation, can't tell me that either, so.
All right, all those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
right.
Did I hear 3? Aye, aye,
Right.
and aye. Opposed?
nay.
I am as well opposed. I would like to see something more than the 16, but less than the 17.
The point's been made pretty well. You can get where they're trying to go with that number.
If we bank on the,
You can get
Call
where you want to
services.
go and raise the call people with that number.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's enough gas in the tank there on that one.
Yeah. But I don't think anybody doesn't wanna go where you wanna get, or get where you want.
I guess if we understood more about the call firefighters.
We can't set that.
Yeah.
No, I know we can't. It's a variable, right?
Well, no, I'm talking about what they actually get.
No, I mean, if you had more fires next year than we did this year, you probably would have more call firefighter wages, would you not?
Right,
It's
but
incidents, it's
the-
really not fires.
is this a base wage?
Right.
Is that what these,
Yes.
right, base wages?
Yes.
That's what we can't address, that the commissioners,
No, they
And-
can do
and
whatever they
should.
want.
but they won't do it if the money's not there. They can't do it if the money's not there.
All right, so let me throw this out there. I make a motion that we fund total salaries and wages in the amount of $1,625,000. And that's made the last year's pie a little bigger. When we've already proven through math that we don't need it. When I actually think we could level fund that line.
Like, I agree with you, but I get where you're going.
Yeah, I'll throw another 20,000 at it and to prove my point.
Yeah, to do that.
Yeah, 22 grand,
Yeah,
right?
Does it your motion?
yeah, 165.
Is there a second?
I'm sorry, I missed the number.
1,625,000.
Okay, I'll second that.
Any more discussion?
So for that, we're gonna give the chief, I guess, discretion and the commissioners, if they still wanna do the 7.65, they can find it, they can do it.
We can give
or-
10, I don't
Yeah,
care.
we can't
It's a
stop them
bottom
from
line
doing
budget, they
So-
can, yeah. they
So we're
can-
we're not locking
No,
the employees into like a
Nope.
5% right now, we're
Nope.
just saying,
Nope.
figure it out.
Yeah.
This
We
is
don't
the
have
money.
that ability.
Here's the pie,
Okay.
slice it.
And
when I
what,
say bottom line, it's the bottom line, not this bottom line.
I guess, what is you two guys' thoughts on that? Like, what would if we approve this, what would your strategy be with that money?
You could probably squeeze a 6% out of it.
Like I said, I'm very concerned about our salary line item and where we need to be. I think, given, if I maintained 100,000 in the call salary line item, I won't be able to do even what the green line is, whatever the green line is, it'll be less than that. If I take money out of the call salary line and fund up to the pink line or orange line, whatever it is, on the career side, I jeopardize having to limit call responses maybe near the end of the year, depending upon how they come. I had to do that 1 year, and that hurt me for 2 years afterwards, because when you start limiting when they can come to calls, they stop coming to calls altogether. And then it takes you years to build up back to that thing where they want to come back to call and do calls. That's, I've been doing this a long time. And I think what I've proposed is extremely fair to everybody involved. I don't want to hurt the call company, I certainly don't want to hurt the career personnel, and I certainly don't want to hurt the taxpayers. I understand where they're coming from as well. We're all taxpayers here, and looking at where we are and what is out there in the environment for what we have to compete with, what we require our firefighters to be certified in, what we require them to do, the responsibilities we give them, I think $20 an hour, or even $22 an hour is not an unfair wage. And I didn't even recommend that really, because I am trying to balance all of the requirements and needs within these communities and within the fire district. And at 9.1% is what we're doing for our people, is just keeping them at the same buying power as they had last year. It's not giving them anything more than what the cost of living index was in August, year over year, was when I developed these numbers. I understand you guys want to trim the budget, keep the budget as thin as possible. I truly understand that. And believe me, when I get a budget every year, I do everything in my power to make sure that I underspend the budget that I'm giving. Going through the year, finding places where I didn't expect, well, maybe we can do this and save a few dollars here, save a few dollars there. And I've never overexpended, except the very first year here, where I wasn't here to develop the budget. I've always turned money back in, and to the benefit of the fire district, it's built up unreserved fund balance, so that when we do go for a bond for a fire station, we're able to have the best rates possible, because we're living within our limits, and we have the right amount of money in the unreserved fund balance that is recommended by the gas BP folks and the bank folks and things like that. I just think it's fiscally irresponsible to hurt the employees.
I think it's,
And then if we start losing employees, we start losing talent. And we have great talent here right now. We have a great firehouse, and I believe we provide the best service in the Lakes region for the money that we have, the people that we have. I put them up against anybody. So I think
I agree, Chief.
1.625 is far too low. If you want to take some more money out of the call salary line and jeopardize that, maybe I could, given the amount of call volume and the responses over the years, there might be some room there, but I really want to have to limit calls to people coming in November, December, or something, when I see that it's not going to work out. And it may work out,
Yeah.
but I don't want to roll the dice on that.
we have to sell this to a constituency that is not getting 5, 6, 7, 8% cost of living increases in their jobs and careers. And many of our taxpayers or residents are fixed income. We hear that every year. My job, I work for the state, it's a fixed income. I can't go and do more stuff, but I think at the district meeting, this is gonna be a big deal if we say we're supporting a 7 or an 8% COLA. The folks that we represent, they're not
You're
getting
gonna
that.
say that to their social security, it's going up 8+ %?
Yeah, but you're talking about
Where's that
social
money coming
security,
from?
which has been below poverty
Well,
line
right.
for what,
I know, but
decades?
I'm just saying, he's saying subject
But I'll tell you, my grandmother lived in subsidized housing in Nashua, and every time her social security went up, her rent went up, it went away. Nobody's going to the bank with a wheel.
Oh, no,
go
the
for
COLA
money.
last month was
Yeah.
over 8%.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And
So the
so
subsidized
what I had
housing is
recommended was
So they
rent
just-
is based on the
7.65,
percentage
we
of-
got that
Yep,
down.
yep, so as soon as her social security went up, the rent went up, but her life didn't change. There's other factors in play. And, I don't know, I think who we represent and who we're here
So
to watch is.
I want you to think of who you represent and the people that we're here to protect and serve.
If somebody wants to amend it on the floor, if the voting body thinks, you know what, the guy should have 10%, if that's what the voting body wants to do, then, we're just a
Nobody's
pass through.
recommending 10%.
What's that?
No one was recommending 10%.
Or 8
anyway.
or 9, but I think.
It was just an example.
Yeah, there are many industries that aren't doing what we're proposing here. And I've had years where I said no to a COLA, that I've been on this budget committee, and I said, nope, you're not doing, you do one or the other, not both, because we've had those speed bumps where there was a proposal for a step and a COLA.
Well, he's
and-
not doing that this year.
Right,
I'm
so-
not concerned ourselves with that.
Yeah, whatever. I can't
Yeah,
remember doing a step in a COLA.
Yeah, there's been times in the past. where-
Regardless of what it
So-
is, it's the amount.
Yep.
And the fact is, the residents of these communities, most of them aren't middle income, unfortunately. Okay, We have a motion on the table. Is there any more discussion on that motion?
So,
Can I ask a question? Make it, maybe table this part. We've given the chief a number, Jason's number. Have the chief go back, work, see what he can work with that number, if he can work it out, and then come back to us and say, can't do it, can do it, and see what we do the next time.
We're gonna have to remember one thing, any vote we make tonight can be re-looked at
Yeah.
at the next meeting.
I would just,
So we can do it either way.
Anything
If they want to withdraw the motion in the second, we can do that. Or we can vote on it and it can be brought up again.
Kathy needs a number by the end of the month.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, she can work on the number that we've approved, but it doesn't mean that number's gonna stay the same.
Mhm.
I mean, that's unfortunate, the
And no matter what we
budgeting.
do, for a number, reality is it may change anyway.
There you go. Yeah, she gets her health insurance done and go on.
Well, this would also help populate the workers' comp, or the, not the workers' comp, the FICA and unemployment.
So, there's a motion on the table with a second. We have a request to have that motion withdrawn. The motion maker want to withdraw his motion.
He has to table it, you can't table well we have a motion on the floor. So we can't table something when we already have a motion on the second.
No, that's why I didn't ask the table.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody understands what we're voting on?
No. I'm sorry, I was working on.
We're voting on total salary and wages, the bottom line of
Okay,
that
so 1625?
is
Okay.
Yes.
1,625,000. Everybody understand that? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, so the motion has failed. Do we want to keep going at it with that? Do we want to come back to it?
You got a meeting upstairs?
I'm not worried about outside agencies, unfortunately I have a preformed conclusion about them. It's not good.
So they don't want you.
So my thought is, you know, that if we say we're salary increase for the career salaries and all that, and those three numbers, if we say a certain amount or a certain percentage, then that's fixed. And the only variable is the call salaries. So if we said we want to bring that down to 50,000 or 75,000, then Mike could figure out, okay, let's say 6%, or 5% or whatever.
So when we're done this budget, we're gonna have a figure.
be at the bottom.
It'll be what,
Page 10.
300, whatever it is. What were we last year? Based on that figure is what they have to spend. And within that figure, there's always wiggle room. I'm sure there's gonna be money left over this year to go into the general fund. Except for the hydrant issue.
That's already in the general fund. Or no,
Very
on the
seldom
paper.
is there a year in municipal government where there isn't monies left over unless you've had a catastrophic event like a, furnace failed or whatever.
Yeah,
So there'll be money left over in the budget.
to go back into salaries.
They can use that monies.
They can put this money.
Instead of
where they
letting that
want.
money roll into,
Okay.
they can spend that
All right,
money.
they're not committed, this section only is.
This section does not
Okay, good,
bind
yeah.
them to
Okay, good.
anything, no matter what we put into it.
But at the same time, it's responsible for me to provide you with a line item budget that I try to live by. At the same time, if all you guys want is a bottom line budget, I can give you one number at the bottom and let me figure it out from there, or I will figure it out.
I don't think you'd like that.
No, I don't like it either. That's why I do this.
Because you want to think of everything,
I do.
like.
Well, and you want us to see that, you want us to hear that. It doesn't mean we're going to agree with everything. but you don't wanna give us the bottom line figure and have us cut that.
Well, it depends on what the bottom line he gave.
Well, there's no,
Be pretty healthy
you
at
know,
$5 million.
yeah, there's no, I don't have to worry about employees, I don't have to worry about somebody's benefits, or you fixing a station, I can just look at it and go, you know what? I'm gonna make that the same as last year, phew. Cause I'm not thinking about all that stuff,
I know.
but that's just me. You guys wanna continue?
No.
Did I hear no's?
Correct.
Motion to adjourn.
Before we adjourn, please,
We need to set a date to meet again.
we need to set meeting dates.
Oh, boy. How about next Thursday?
I have a question for the
No.
commissioner while you're,
Patriots are on at 8 o'clock.
Okay, what's your question?
question for the
That'll get us out of
commissioner
here.
while you're doing that. Have the commissioners ever thought about entertaining a warrant article that allows them to spend the apparatus and equipment money on more than just,
One's coming up this year.
oh, I mean, it seems to me
What are you looking to
repairs
spend
of
it
those
on?
vehicles
Was
that
it
you buy with
maintenance
this,
and repair?
Maintenance and service contracts.
which would reduce,
Not this year. it will
no,
go
but
to-
next
It
year.
doesn't reduce anything. It
Well, it depends on how
It
you,
shifts.
depends on who the budget committee is.
doesn't reduce anything.
It shifts where the money
We,
comes from.
we get money, we put some in this pocket, some in that pocket, some in the other
It just
pocket.
enables, it creates an enabling to go spend more.
Yeah,
No, it does.
not if you look at it, not if they keep a budget committee.
It affects the, if you take that out of the operating budget, it's not against the tax rate.
Right, but if you put all that money into the operating budget, it
It's
dumps
Thanksgiving.
the
We're
tax
not
rate.
doing
But
it
if you
next
start,
Wednesday.
if you start hitting the apparatus and
And we're not
equipment
doing it next Wednesday either,
budget too hard, then you're not
'cause I gotta cook.
buying the trucks as often, you know,
Well, you've
it's gonna
gotta
get
have-
away from you over
You've gotta
time.
have a 10, 20-year
If you-
plan on
Yeah, if you make
equipment.
a lot of small changes,
Do you?
then all of a sudden you get 10 years up,
Yes.
oh, we can't buy
I
that truck
have
until
a
another.
plan.
If we keep using that money
It's
for other
CIP.
things, we're not gonna have money
Okay.
for the next $1 million fight.
Yeah,
You can't have wish lists.
We
Some government bodies have wish lists.
need meeting dates.
Yes, please.
Mm.
Okay.
Wednesday's still working for everybody?
Yeah, the 30th.
What is today?
Today is the 16th.
Next week is the day before Thanksgiving, we want to do it then.
Next week is Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Oh,
I
I
thought
wonder
that
how
was
long to
next
see me
week.
tomorrow night. Huh,
It's Thanksgiving.
I thought it was just fish missed me. Okay, so I guess we're not meeting next week, huh?
Correct.
Well,
Wednesday
only
the
if it's-
30th.
Yeah,
okay.
11:30.
I mean, I can't do the 30th, but I mean, if you guys all can.
Tuesday the 29th.
Can you join us by phone?
I can't do Tuesday the 29th, I have planning board.
what about,
You can do that.
You don't go to yoga?
Okay.
Tuesday?
Yeah, we could do that.
December
If he
1st?
can't be here on the 30th, can you set it up so he's audio?
Beam them in.
Yeah,
91A allows that.
Put it on a phone. Show it.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking more that he can
Thanks
hear
to
us
COVID.
as well as we can hear him.
So the 30th?
It'd be like like the Teams meetings we had during COVID.
Or we could just have a phone on the desk and speakerphone.
Yeah.
You can do that too.
Yeah, use that, just leave it.
So the 30th?
This is my phone, so whatever works for you.
You use my phone.
Just saying.
Okay. The 30th, is that what we said?
Yes, what time? 5:30 still?
Yeah.
Is that what works best for everyone?
Yep.
Now, I know we're not gonna get it finished, so let's go into December.
Stand with Wednesdays, right?
That
So,
seems to be working.
so we want to meet the week after, or do you want to do it every other week?
The week after is no good, bank meeting.
What?
Have a meeting then on the week after the first Wednesday in.
So skip a week and have a meeting.
For me, I mean, you guys,
We should be really close to done after
The
the 30th.
14th is the awards ceremony.
Which you are all
Wednesday.
invited to.
Ooh,
That's
Do you
what I
wanna, do you wanna do it there?
No,
Yeah, there's a bar.
Might be better.
but that's a Wednesday.
That is a
It's
Wednesday.
Right, so this is my RSVP.
You coming?
Yeah, yes, I've been waiting for 3 years. We've been
Canceling,
We've been promising this for 3 years. Actually, I got 2. Last year I got 3.
Yeah, because you had cancellation notice too.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So,
On the postage line.
So,
so do we wanna meet on the 30th and then decide when our next meeting is, cause we could be pretty well done.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
We're,
All right.
we're
Yeah,
into
okay.
right now.
yeah, I'm fine with that.
The rest of it is kind of fluff.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get bound up on one more thing.
we're gonna continue to meet here?
We
You got a
can.
problem?
Yeah, I do.
What?
This space is not big enough for 7 people.
I can, we can meet in the Fulton PD conference room, it's pretty nice.
That'd be fabulous.
If, I'll ask the chief, but this, you know, what,
Okay.
this is easier. if you
Wear a
have-
coat.
I know,
How's
I'll-
that, how's that gonna
Yeah,
work
I
for
get that.
you?
No, that's fine.
Oh, is your budget committee meeting every week now, or?
I'm not sure, I'll find out when I finally get up there.
Okay.
Then they do, so for me, the town, like I said, I'm all for cutting the outside agencies. But,
Good luck.
so the interviewing them for me is like, you know, I've talked to these people for almost 19 years.
Right. The budget committee cuts it. and then-
So you've heard the story.
Then there's crying at town meeting.
But yeah, so it's like, you know, what more are they gonna tell me about themselves?
Okay, so,
But thank you for asking.
so motion to adjourn.
So motion to adjourn. All right, thank you, everybody, that was good work.
Meeting adjourned at
The email was
6:30.
great. About our meeting.